Bohemian Rhapsody. Man, that chicken's talented, man. Y'all don't know a rooster was inspiration for Bohemian Rhapsody, did you?
He inspired the haircuts.
Galileo! We're going to get Carlos life straight. We're going to get him a shirt from dtmerch.com. That'll get everything straight.
That solves everything.
Yeah, if you just put your business in this backpack right here, you'd be all right, man.
You could have walked away with it.
You could have walked away. Maybe we need to keep him off dtmerch.com. He's going to look too sexy in that classic black tee with the white logo. He's going to get in more trouble with that, man. Oh, he's going to fuck around and have to get that baby T right there.
Yeah, but how many of them?
Yeah, I know, man. I know. You can come back over here and you can subscribe, and you can do it many ways. You can, for example, use your Amazon account. We have an Amazon Pay button. You have a username and a password. We got 2 slots that you can put it into. And we even have an enter button that you can press.
That's what
No, I meant it just like I said it. And when you press enter, oh, shit. Oh my God. Oh, look, he got that toasted goodness all over his body. Honey mustard. Got this movie here, the Bohemian Rhapsody. It was a trailer that came out and people were saying, man, I don't know nothing about Queen, but I can't wait to find out because this trailer is amazing.
And I love their music.
And I love their music. Some people hadn't even heard of Queen music for a while or at all. And they said, you know what, I realized I've heard these songs before and didn't even know who Queen was.
Wait, it's all the same band?
Yeah.
Who makes these songs?
Yeah, yeah. So they said, you know, let's put a movie out here so we can educate these kids. And for the people who do know Queen, y'all know the members. We got Brian May, Roger Taylor, John Deacon, and some kid named Freddie Mercury. You know, they brought in at the last minute. You know, some scrub they brought in there, singing or some shit. I don't know.
He could hold a tune.
He can hold a tune, you know. But now, if anybody's been keeping up with the movie, you probably heard about the film before the trailer even came out, because the movie was going through a lot of trouble. The movie had 2 directors they went through. Had Brian Singer. He was too busy swimming with little boys or something, so he had to go. They were legal legal age. I mean, just like tiny boys, you know. Yeah,
barely, but yes.
Yeah. But then they brought in another director to do that, and then they had to finish what he couldn't finish. Then they brought in Sacha Baron Cohen, and Sacha Baron Cohen said, you know, I just don't like this script. He was supposed to play Freddie Mercury. And a lot of people said that, damn, this guy, he was born to play Freddie Mercury.
Right.
And
he was like, yes, I was. I'm ready to do this. Let me see that script. Ooh, no, fuck that.
Yeah, he took it, and they said, all right. He got about halfway through, and halfway it says, and Freddie dies. But the band went on. The band played on.
Yes.
They persevered.
They got Paul Rogers. They got Adam Lambert. And,
yeah.
And everyone celebrated, except not really. They did.
People even like, who?
Who? Yeah.
Yeah. But the band played on. I don't know whose story is right. I don't know what version is happening out there that's the correct one. But thing about it is that the movie did get made. And as I said, had a great trailer. And is mostly about Freddie Mercury. And it seems to touch on things that people said that they wouldn't do. They said, hey, you know, they ain't going to talk about him being gay. And then people say, how the fuck can you not?
Right.
Now you're going to kill homosexuality too in the script? You can't do that. So it seems like they put in the movie everything that everybody was asking for. You got your Freddie Mercury. You got the story about his sexuality. And plus, even the band got a big part in there. So everybody should be happy, right? Everybody should be cool. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer.
We're 4 misfits who don't belong together. They're playing for other misfits.
Now, you know these people here want to go, stop, collaborate, and listen. Go on, get that shit out your system. Go on, get all that vanilla out your system right now, because we're going to leave that bullshit right there with these kind of movies, man, which is a musical biopic of a band. Not everybody's going to get what they want.
Well, it's one of those things where when you try to make everybody happy, nobody's really happy.
Exactly. I mean, there are things that the movie didn't touch on for me, and these are kind of obscure things. There was an album that Queen put out, News of the World, years ago, scared the fuck out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah, with that android?
That goddamn mentally challenged robot that killed Queen right there. I would have loved to know how, that album, where they got the art from, what was going on with that. I didn't get that. It's a small detail. They're covering broad strokes here, which is not always a bad thing. Another thing that I have good news about here is that I can finally stop trying to figure out what Bohemian Rhapsody is about. After all these years of trying to figure out these Scaramoushes and these Galileos.
Scaramouche, Scaramouche, will you do the fandango? Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening me.
Turns out, don't mean a goddamn thing.
No.
In the movie,
when you listen to it, you try to piece it together as a story. You go like, wait, they just put together words that sound good. Like a lot of songs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The first mistake that the record rep made, he asked, what's it about? Nothing, darling. It's interpretive. Okay, y'all know what the fuck y'all talking about then. I will say the first thing, and we just got to talk about this right now. And just
talking about the boxing match that went on in this movie?
What's that?
The boxing match for the first 30 minutes with Rami Malek fighting those teeth.
Those teeth, boy.
I honestly, I'm not lying. I couldn't focus on the movie because it's him fighting those teeth. And those teeth were kicking his ass.
Man, look, y'all can say what you want to. Y'all can think we just being shallow, but
no.
The whole beginning of this movie is his tongue just trying to keep them teeth from hopping out his mouth. In fact, there was a moment where somebody even told him, he says, I'm thinking about joining the band. And one person said, them fucked up teeth you ain't. And I sat up there, I said, ah! And this woman looked at me like, how dare you? And I was like, bitch, that ain't the real Freddie Mercury. Don't act like you can't see them goddamn hillbilly teeth hold on, don't act like you can't see them goddamn hillbilly teeth trying to hop out his mouth right now.
And even at that very end, when they show you footage of real Freddie Mercury, you go like, his teeth weren't that bad.
Shit.
Why did y'all do that?
Yeah, somewhere Freddie Mercury looking down going like, God damn. I wasn't that bad. the whole beginning of this movie, Rami Malek, he looked like a horse trying to eat peanut butter.
Yeah.
Shit, it's almost like they made the Mr. Ed movie. I'll tell you, Wilbur. I'm gonna join a band.
Want to join your band, dog?
Just like the real Freddie Mercury, once Freddie Mercury took the stage, once Freddie Mercury did his thing, you forgot about the teeth. When Rami Malek takes the stage, you see how he's the embodiment of Freddie Mercury. He's not, he's not singing. He's not the one doing any of the vocals right here, but he owns the screen, just like when Freddie Mercury's energy just set the stage ablaze, man. He has his mannerisms down. He has his energy. And I have to say that for that part, I think he did extremely well. When he's on stage, he captures Freddie Mercury. When he's off stage, I know somebody said, ooh, yeah, be afraid, man.
I didn't know how you gonna feel about that, because the whole time I was watching it, I was like, man, he's getting so much praise for his portrayal of Freddie Mercury. And yeah, the stage stuff he's got down. But Freddie as a person, that ain't Freddie Mercury right there. That's Rami Malek with some bad teeth and a wig, acting halfway like Mick Jagger in some kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Flamboyant cartoon.
No, and that's exactly what he is. On stage, he's amazing. When he walks off stage, it's a disappointment. I'm not going to even say it's his fault. It's because, oh, brother, somebody hurt back there. Somebody man, look, you might get a different interpretation of it when you see it, but what I saw on stage, it looked like they took a flaming gay man and smoked him out. Just got him. Yeah. They looked like they took a flaming gay man and got him really high. Because look, I ain't trying to talk bad about Rami Malek, but Rami Malek, he got those eyes, man.
Right.
He
can't get around that. He does have bug eyes. He
got them big ass eyes, and when he's doing his performance, they really can't focus on anything.
Yeah.
He's just kind of bug eyed,
darling.
and he's floating around the room with his arm out.
He's prancing.
He's dropping a darling every now and then. It's really not this man's fault. They wrote the character to be this way. He's, when you watch him, he's not. That's exactly what it is. He doesn't feel like a person. he feels like a caricature of a flaming gay man. It's not always bad, because the problem is it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like he's an actual person, except at moments when he's with his what he calls the love of his life, who is played by Lucy Boynton. Mary is the person.
Yeah.
And whenever he's with her, you feel like that's when he's actually being sincere. That's when you actually feel the emotion coming from him. That's when you feel bad for him, because he wants to be with this girl so bad. You know, he really does love her. He really does consider her the love of his life. It's just that his dick don't. And you know, the whole time he's with her, you can see that he's fighting himself the whole, you know, because he hasn't accepted, you know, because of the period that we're in, he hasn't accepted his homosexuality yet. And that struggle seems real. Him doing everything else, the struggle is real. You talking about a boxing match, he's constantly fighting that penis. Come on, man. Come on, do me like this, man. His dick is like, you know you're not helping, right?
It's extremely disappointing, because it's a chance to really see into him. And everything you read about Freddie Mercury was that when he wasn't on stage, he was shy, he was more reserved. You can watch videos of him, and he doesn't come across as flaming. Sure, this guy is most likely gay, but there's some kind of doubt to it. This character here, not at all.
Yeah,
it's like he's just throwing it out there. And like,
yeah,
it's like, come on, this isn't. I mean, and it's that thing where throughout this movie, I was like, you know what? If he wasn't dead, I bet they wouldn't do him like this.
No, I mean, the dude might as well just have sprouted wings and just flew around the room with a magic wand,
but like a little bumblebee,
like a Tinkerbell or something. It's like y'all did this man wrong. I'm telling you, I'm not even, like I said, I'm not talking about Rami Malek. He did what they asked him to do.
Yeah,
they said, you know what? They said, Rami, more gay. You know, just, we need more gay.
No, mate, that was great.
Yeah.
But if you could just make it a little bit more gay, and by a little bit, I mean a lot more.
A lot of people don't like his performance. I wasn't a big fan of it, other than his stage performances.
I don't know how we're going to proceed further, but I'm glad we both agree on that.
No, you can't miss it.
yeah, but I've been reading things where people are like, "Oh, he's transplendent. He's wonderful." I'm like,
okay, fine, all right. You know, I believe those people scared to say anything because Freddie Mercury dead. I'm telling you right here, Freddie Mercury would be like, fuck that shit, man. Right. God damn. You know, yeah, I like dudes, but I wasn't like that. The rest of the movie doesn't feel authentic, man. You know, the rest of this film, it feels like, the rest of the movie feels phony because they took a larger-than-life band. They took a band that transcended the conventions of rock and roll and the conventions of pop music and put them in a biopic that is painfully typical.
It is so by the numbers. They could have bought it in a kit.
This shit was
and just plug things in.
They went to a computer program and said, we need the Queen story, and just pressed this shit. And used every other biopic out there. They just replaced Johnny Cash with Freddie Mercury. You know, because it is every biopic that you have, musical biopic that you've seen. And it's even more formulaic than those, because this movie has a pattern. This movie, throughout the film, 3 or 4 times, they repeat the same thing, which is, number one, you hear the inklings of a song. Uh-huh. You know, somebody, you know, some wind chimes go, ding, 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 ding. You know, like, oh my God, that sounds familiar.
What is that?
And then you get the band talking about it. You get the process. And then you go from the process to fruition when they're playing on the big band. I mean, on the big stage.
Yeah.
And you get it in different tones. You get the wackiness, Martin. Mm-hmm. The backstage hijinks that led to Bohemian Rhapsody. Now that chicken's talented, man. Y'all don't know a rooster was inspiration for Bohemian Rhapsody, did you?
He inspired the haircuts.
Go on, roll the track.
Boy, nobody had no nuts after that was done. Everybody just coughed their testicles out. But That's the funny part. Oh, but they got, and I'm playing these two things so you can see the pattern. Because, let me play this out. That's the behind the scenes part. You'll see how they transition into them being on the big stage.
Are we done?
That's it. He loves you.
The finished product. And they do it with other songs in the movie. Now I'm playing this other clip right here, even though they're kind of lengthy. I'm playing this other clip so you can see that they kind of do the exact same thing, just with different emotional tones. While that one was the humorous comedy relief backstory of a classic song, this one is the more dramatic tone right here, where we're the passion for the fans that led up to "We Will Rock You."
Imagine thousands of people doing this in unison.
Teeth.
Huh? Well,
I know you expect Freddie Mercury just be like, get him off me! Shit!
What's the lyric?
Those are two right there.
There's another one.
There's another one there. And by the time it's all done, you all of a sudden realize, like, this ain't the movie about Queen or even Freddie Mercury. This is like an origin story of all of their classic songs.
Right. Also, every time they do it, they go, I mean, I know it's for some people who don't know, who are new to Queen, you could go, oh, that's how. And the whole time, if you know anything about them or way records are produced, you're watching that, you're going, I bet it didn't go down nothing like this.
No.
This is all fakery.
No, and yes, see, you're going to realize that this movie is pulling something on you right here. And I don't even know if the producers and directors know this, but what the movie's doing is they are giving you some really bland, mediocre shit and fooling you into having a good time because they are just regurgitating all the Queen songs.
Yeah.
Everything is a build up to another classic song. Everything is a build up to a final concert. And you're going to be thinking that, because you were in the theater tapping your foot to these songs that existed already, you're going to think that you're falling in love with the movie. You take away those goddamn songs, it's every movie that you've seen. Ain't much of a movie there. All the story parts they're just little bits to fill in the gaps. As I was saying, some of them are just little visual bits. Like, hints of Freddie Mercury's homosexuality, but it's not done very clever. Freddie Mercury's on a payphone, and you get hints of when he discovered his first feeling for homosexuality by a trucker that's walking by giving him goo eyes, saying "fuck me in the bathroom." and Freddie Mercury come back to Freddie Mercury on the phone like, "Oh shit, I
don't know what to do."
I was sweating. That's not real storytelling, man.
It's not.
You understand what I'm saying?
It's not. I don't know if you doing one of your psych out things where you go like, yeah, but later I loved it, but I got to be honest. I was watching this movie. I was like, man, there is not a genuine moment in this entire thing.
And the emotional parts are cool, but they are played out in a really in a very standard way. Also,
they are.
You get young Freddie Mercury, who was born Farouk Bulsara, and Farouk Bulsara. I choose that character all the time, Mortal Kombat. Well, shit, with them teeth, he could pull a fatality on anybody. That's him at a very young age right there.
Wow. Well, he did grow into the teeth a little bit better.
He sure did. That motherfucker like something out of Wallace and Gromit or something. Like one of the biggest coincidences in the movie is you have Freddie Mercury, before he was Freddie Mercury, admiring the band when they were called Smile.
Right.
And it just so happened, the night that he goes backstage to say hello to the band that he loves so much, they just happen to lose their lead singer.
I enjoyed the show. I write songs.
Our lead singer just quit.
But then you'll need someone new.
Well, it's a good thing Freddie Mercury's right here in front of our van. And from that moment on, when I say that Freddie Mercury is played with too much confidence, you don't ever get any kind of struggle in the success of Freddie Mercury. The moment he takes stage, before they even have the name Queen, they're Queen. He's already that's what I mean by a little. It's suffering from overconfidence. you never get the feeling that Freddie Mercury, before he's even Freddie Mercury, you never get the feeling he can fail.
Oh, no. You're wrong. Because when he first gets on the stage, he's fighting with the microphone.
Oh, yeah.
but it leads to him having his signature, which is a microphone on a broken stand.
And
so everything is an origin point.
Everything, and then you're like, bullshit. That's not how that happened.
I know.
Man, how did that mic become a member of the band? You know why you didn't think it really happened that way? Because it feels phony when you're watching it right there. There's a movie out there that's about people that didn't even exist, and they told a better biopic than this.
I always knew.
Yeah.
A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
That you'd be all right. It's the first time I'm worried about you.
He's talking to Freddie Mercury. You know, it's the first time I actually think you fucked up. You know, that is A Star Is Born, Bradley Cooper's movie, which is like the 4th remake of that movie, but it's a rise and fall story.
Sure.
But and those stories are a dime a dozen, but he found a way to tell it that felt authentic.
Well, you find the window of where the most interesting things happen, and then you bring in characters that feel real and talk to each other like real people, so that the audience cares. And yeah, you can watch A Star Is Born, and from the moment it starts, you know things are probably going to go pretty badly for somebody in it. But you still have that hope because you like them so much. And here, you're just going through. You're pretty much just waiting for the next song to drop on the jukebox.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you know, that's not to say that there's not some intrigue here. Again, it's kind of shallow because, you know, in all these movies, you always have certain things. You have love that's tearing people apart, success that's breaking friendships apart, and you also have the business side. You know, people who are fighting over their livelihood, which is the band, and that's kind of what you have here. You know, you have people fighting over Freddie Mercury as a business, and what's interesting about it is that it's done from 2 different areas. It's done from one area, which is someone who's a lover, and then you have another guy who's a manager. Alan Leach is the lover. That's the actor right there. And Aidan Gillian plays the manager in the group. And they both have their own kind of special interests at heart with Freddie Mercury. And even then, they're not really played up that much. In fact, Aidan Gillian, he ain't playing nobody but Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. No matter what you put this motherfucker in, he's always somewhere just plotting.
I know. I know. The minute he's in there and he's like, here's your new manager. And you're like, don't trust him.
Nah. This fool can't even take a headshot without looking like he's about to kill the photographer.
He does always look like he's up to something.
Yeah, he's always plotting. Brian May, the guitarist, who's an amazing guitarist, has one of the most distinct rock guitar sounds.
Yeah.
Still out there today.
Yeah.
Brian, and I have to say, Brian May, also great casting on his part. That's William Lee who plays him. If you look at Brian May at a very young age, they're very close to looking like each other.
They are close. I mean, mostly they get the wig spot on. But as close as he was, I thought the actors they got for Roger Taylor and especially John Deacon were almost like they pulled them from the past because they look exactly like those guys.
Yeah, I thought it was good casting all around. It's just, you know, the other member that everybody knows very well is Brian May, and
sure,
like, wow, okay, that was great casting right there. Being that Brian May is one of the producers on this, he wants to make it known it ain't just about Fred. Hey, we did shit too. And I don't mind that. He wants to make it known that they were a band, and I think that was something that was important because I think together they all did contribute to having a distinct sound. And the thing is that you know, I'm glad they pushed this image, but it seemed forced, and it was delivered in really bad, cheesy ways. I mean, they actually have one part in the movie where they're like, "We're not just a band, we're family." I'm like, Vin Diesel, when you
I know. I feel like he's back there like, I wrote that.
Room for one more. No, the fuck out of here. It would be good if the band wasn't presented as just being reactionary to Freddie Mercury, because a lot of this movie, whether they're fighting against Freddie or they're rooting him on and applauding his genius, it's always them reacting to him. And most of the movie is just the band just sitting back, just shaking their head like, "Oh, Freddie, again. Why can't you be straight and responsible like us?" You know, and it's one of those things where it almost feels like a sitcom because it's probably one or two scenes where the band isn't together, but most of the time it's Freddie Mercury versus the band.
Right.
They are always in a committee.
Yeah.
They're with Freddie. Why you late, Freddie? Hey, Freddie, who's cooking dinner tonight, Freddie? Freddie, what's going on, Freddie? And all of them are together all the time. Freddie, he can be by himself, but that band is always together.
I'll take it that much further, and that one of the big problems with this movie, like a lot of these movies like this, is that it's made with the members of the band still alive and controlling the narrative. Like, they couldn't get the rights to use these songs without the band being producers and agreeing to what went on the screen. So they all come across as, hey, we're just a bunch of nice guys who had to put up with this, this problematic singer, but, he was really talented, so we did it, and we loved him. But most of the time, we just stood back and shook our heads and never caused any problems. Oh, sure, Roger Taylor may have cheated on his wife, or maybe Freddie made it up. I'm surprised he even let that much get in there.
Oh no, they don't. No, these guys, they are shown as just a bunch of fun-loving lads.
Oh yeah,
who had well, if we could have had more hits and records if Freddie didn't fuck it up.
Right, exactly.
Blame him.
But they go into Freddie Mercury's 2 solo albums where that was like, what? You doing solo albums? This is some bullshit, man. That's it. We're done. Like, that broke them up. In real life, it did not break them up. He made their albums, and they kept playing it together.
Yeah.
That was a bunch of bullshit. Even down to the very end of the, like, well, all right, we'll get back together for Live Aid. They weren't even broken up.
They weren't. Martin, I have it written down right here. I got it written down my notes. This movie is a goddamn lie.
It is a goddamn lie.
I'm looking at it right here. This movie does shit. Like, if it ain't Queen, you were full of shit. They showed Freddie Mercury's band, like when he goes solo, they cut to his studio band, they back there fumbling with instruments. We're enjoying the retards. It's like, man, that's petty, man.
Yeah, it is petty.
It was petty. It was like that didn't go down like that.
Sure, he made albums, but he didn't enjoy it.
And if the goal was to show them more as a band, that didn't work because, again, they are just being reactionary to him. This whole thing. So they kind of fucked themselves on that. Mm-hmm. Because they know. They like, man. Look,
somebody had to pull them aside.
Man, these fools really want. They really want to make the Queen movie. They want to murder this dude in the middle of this film. If they could put a scene in there with Freddie Mercury, like he was evil and they had to stop his ass and kill him in the middle of the movie, they would have done it, man. Look, it's cool to see them bond with each other. And near the end of the movie, it's a touching scene. Freddie Mercury goes in, he's like, hey, well, blokes, I have AIDS, so we better do this concert. He's like, I don't want to go out with a guilty conscience. By the way, I was talking about how this is going to look really cool on the big screen when you watch it on IMAX. That crowd that I thought looked so cool in the trailer, you can see where they copied and pasted this little spot of crowd right here to the rest of the screen. Am I lying, Martin?
No, you're not lying.
They did that shit in After Effects.
And the big Live Aid concert that is enough for them to put their differences aside and do it one more time for Freddie because he has AIDS. He didn't get diagnosed with AIDS until 3 years after that concert.
Lying! Just flat out fucking lying. Freddie Mercury was a flaming, flamboyant, loud-ass homosexual who went and got AIDS on purpose so he could bring the band back together and do Live Aid. Like right in the movie, like Martin, I'm gonna tell you, it got me. The movie got me because I saw that at the end. I was like, oh, well, the band came back together because they knew Freddie Mercury. Well, he didn't have too much longer to go. And man, I went online to read some reviews and that shit. They said bullshit. And I'm taking points off. The movie gonna be petty. I'm gonna be petty. I said, I know you ain't gonna walk through this whole movie, get to these credits, and you ain't gonna talk about Flash Gordon.
Oh, I know.
Not one time. Ah! He'll save every one of us, Martin. God, you mean to tell me they're not going to talk about... They're so petty, they can't even give Flash Gordon no respect? I mean, that was one of the... That is a classic soundtrack, man.
I know.
Because what I want to know... Now, you think... That's the band laughing, by the way. Fuck them all. But, the thing that got me... And I think it's important to put something like Flash Gordon in there. And I tell you why. Because Flash Gordon was something that kind of seemed like it went against everything that they were talking about. They wanted to be original. They didn't want to sell out. They were going against all convention. They were going against the business. Why did they decide to do this?
Yeah.
You know, I've always wondered that. And they didn't touch that at all in the movie. Let's put them, you're not cheering for this movie. You feel at the end of it, and if you see it on the big screen, it might feel like you're at one of these concert films, but they put you at a concert. They play all these songs that you love, and then you walk out. And that's how they mess with your mind, because they get you with these endorphins that you got full of from listening to all this music. You leave in a happy mood, and you think you like the movie. The movie's not that good. You're leaving because you like the music.
Exactly.
The movie is bullshit. Or art direction, that's pretty good. So, and for the few moments that you do get some genuine, sincere moments with Freddie Mercury, that's worth something too. But it all balances out to like a low rental, man. For me, I know a lot of people they're going to go see this and they will be entertained because of the music in there.
It's cynically designed to be a crowd-pleasing movie, but as you say, it's all completely based on the music. It's that good feeling you get from the music that's transferred to you to make you come out of it, because you take away that music and it's some bullshit. And I honestly, I came out really, really underwhelmed and disappointed. And then over the course of the week, I grew to hate this movie. Just the more I thought about it, just because I just thought, man, so much they could have done, so much they make it look like they're going to do in those trailers. And wow, what if they got a hold to the story of Prince or David Bowie and they did this? I just came down to, like you, a low rental, just because I was like, well, listen, it's going to entertain the crowd, and maybe that's all it was designed to do. Maybe before I was thinking too highly of its aspirations. It's still a travesty. You're going to reenact their entire 20-minute set?
Martin, they give people a concert. That's how they get them.
Yeah, I saw that concert when it happened. It was awesome, but you know, it happens. It's over. You can watch some old video of it. You don't need to. It's like I said once again. It's not even karaoke. It's lip syncing. It's going to watch somebody lip sync these songs.
But
again.
Martin, if you watch the original, you watch it with Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy. Was he alive, eh? My girl wants to party all the time. Get to live, everybody. No, if you watch the original footage, you watch it where Freddie Mercury doesn't have AIDS. Or maybe he does. It's not as dramatic, Marty.
Yeah, he certainly didn't know that.